I don't game anymore. Those are 3 words that I never expected to ever say out loud from ages 5 to 21 or 22. I was on the verge of being addicted to video games. And this isn't a gaming channel either. But there is one franchise. One single franchise that even made me switch teams after having grown up on PlayStation to changing to Xbox. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. Even if you had clicked on this video without reading the title or even seeing the thumbnail, just by listening to that choir, you already know what single gaming franchise I will, at least in a way, never stop caring about. I vividly even remember being a kid on the internet searching for the rumors of a Halo movie adaptation being made by Peter Jackson, the man behind the greatest trilogy ever made, being in the works. I remember watching Halo Landfall and thinking, wow, is this the trailer? Will this actually happen? And I also remember much more recently thinking to myself, wow, now that even the Godzilla movies I dreamt as a kid have already been made, and with Hollywood pumping out a movie or series out of any property they can get their hands on, imagine what a real Halo project would be like. And then I found out about this.
Be careful what you wish for, Parker.
Oh my god.
How does it feel to have lived long enough to see all of your favorite franchises go down in flames?
Feels great.
Yeah, that's it for the serious and hopeful part of the video, by the way. Because that dream I had, that's deader than it's ever been. But wait. Over 97% of you watching this video are not subscribed to me?
Absolutely unacceptable!
Come on, Reclaimers. You can do better than that. Subscribe today to feed a hungry manatee in a zoo somewhere. And with that elongated preamble out of the way, let me give you a fair warning about the quality of the video you're about to watch. Because I will rely a lot on screenshots for this video because of the fact that Paramount is extremely strict for some reason with copyright, and they also do not like people talking shit about their show. Ha ha ha! Now, let's not pretend that we shouldn't have seen this one coming, Halo fans. Because the harsh reality is that this franchise has been on a downward spiral for a long time now. Almost 12 years if you ask me. And with the most recent failure that should have been a success, that has been Halo Infinite, this should come as no surprise. I mean, how could the fans expect loyalty to the source material when the source material itself hasn't even known what to do with itself in the first place? However, they had no excuse to make it this bad. They had almost 10 years and Steven Spielberg backing them up. And no, I'm not a diehard fan that wanted the games to be copy and pasted. In fact, in terms of the look of the show, I honestly have few gripes with it. I think that the Covenant for the most part looked fine, the weapons for the most part looked fine, especially the Covenant ones are actually as deadly as they should be. In the games, even the normal humans can take them, but in the lore, they would obliterate us as quickly as they do in this series, for the most part. I like the look of the Spartan armors, the costume designs, the CGI mostly does its job, and the action scenes are actually, for the most part, really cool. So cool in fact, that naive fans all over YouTube, such as myself, have praised them. But the story, fuck me sideways. What have they done? Okay, first things first. Let's address the elephant in the room. And this isn't just an elephant. By this point, this is an oliphant in the room. The bloody helmet.
What the fuck were they thinking?
Did the writers just not hear about a show called The Mandalorian by any chance? Now I know that the context is different. During the games, Master Chief explicitly takes off his helmet when needed. He even does that in front of this random guy in Halo 2, but we never get to see it. It's not part of his religion like with Mando, but it's still, you know, fairly important, wouldn't you say? But they did have a perfectly good example of how to portray emotion through a helmet, And even if The Mandalorian came out when this was still in production, that's still no excuse. Look at the games, for fuck's sake. He displays emotion with the helmet on constantly. That's what makes Master Chief intriguing. But here, the showrunners just make him take it off just to take the piss out of us. He first takes it off with almost no build up, and even the other goddamn Spartans have it on more often than he does. Even when it doesn't make any bloody sense to take it off, when there's something about to blow up right in front of him, he takes it off. That's like explicitly going against the source material. But I'm also fully aware that Chief was turned into this few-word badass in order for the player to inhabit him completely. You are the Master Chief in the games. And I've learned that in any argument or topic that we are passionate about, it's always best to hear what both sides of the coin have to say. And I saw a very long video defending the series for once made by a fan called Installation 00, one of those Halo lore channels, which I think he deleted, by the way, which is a shame. He really must have gotten a lot of backlash from it, which is unfortunate. Or maybe he changed his mind once he saw the rest of the season. I don't know. The point is that this guy knows Halo, way more than I do, so I should listen and respect to what he has to say about Chief. And he says that in the novels, Chief can be emotional. He can take off his helmet. And you know, that's a fair point. When they made a movie about a game called Hitman, Hitman was just as boring as he is in the games because he never fucking talks and he just shoots people, and that's one of the main reasons, or perhaps the main reason, why that movie sucks. Or at least that's what I've heard. I've never watched it, I'm not going to waste my time with it. But I highly doubt that Chief in the novels is a completely irrational, overly emotional man-child. And I have absolutely nothing against the actor, by the way. In terms of performance, I didn't expect Leonardo DiCaprio to play him, and I honestly think he kind of resembles what I would imagine Chief to look like. He's not the issue here. The writing is. Which brings me to my main point. The writing, for fuck's sake. This guy is not Master Chief, and I don't have to read the novels to know this. He instantly falls in love with a Covenant spy. He lets his emotions and idiot decisions get in the way of the mission and saving humanity itself. Multiple times. Master Cheeks literally goes against everything Master Chief stands for. The mission goes first. Always.
Our duty as soldiers is to protect humanity, whatever the cost.
They say that, like, soldiers and humanity are two different things. And soldiers aren't machines. We're just people.
He knows that he was kidnapped. He resents Halsey. However, he respects her. In a very strange way, at least to me, Halsey has always felt like a tough love mother to him and all Spartan 2s. And if you know more about Halo than me, by all means, go to the comments and correct me if I'm wrong, but this isn't him. How can you alienate your core fan base and then hate on them when they criticize your show? They're the ones who made this possible in the first place. Dr. Halsey, by the way, she's a hard character to get behind, but we the fans respect her, just like Chief. Like it or not, she saves the human race. This series turns her into this emotionless bitch that tries to manipulate everyone around her constantly. And the acting, oh my god, the acting.
You're tearing me apart, Lisa!
I'm not Steven Spielberg, but when judging a performance, I tend to ask myself, do I believe her? And no, I don't. I think they took the emotionless side of her character way too seriously, and 4 different people directed the show. And did they all tell her to keep this blank poker face, even when they completely ruin her goddamn plans? And this poor Kwon Ha girl. Trust me, I really wanted to get behind her, especially in that first episode, but her entire character is just to be angry and complain about everything. Literally everything. And she's not even in the last 2 episodes, like, at all. She's not even mentioned. Chief forgets about her. He's too busy walking around parks, feeling sorry for himself, fucking spies. A human spy that the prophets themselves call Blessed One. Holy shit. According to the law, by the way, these are the first words spoken to humanity by the Covenant. There I quote, "Your destruction is the will of the gods, and we are their instrument." Something also said by the Prophet of Truth in Halo 3. Even if this was true, and this magical woman was the only one able to access the Forerunner technology, or her in chief I guess, the never-ending pure hatred, jealousy and ego of the Covenant, and especially the Prophets, would not even allow them to have a human in their ranks. And what am I even supposed to feel for this traitor, by the way? Sympathy? Hatred? I honestly don't know. Do you want to know why? Because the writers themselves don't know either.
I don't know.
Is she evil? Is she gonna have a redemption arc? Again, I have no fucking clue.
What the heck does that mean? How am I supposed to know?
And it's not just them. All the characters in this are idiots. There's maybe like two I kinda like. I like Captain Keyes and his daughter Miranda Keyes, who are, by the way, very different to how they are in the games. See? We can be open to changes, but if I keep rambling about characters and acting, I'm gonna be here all day. I will praise him for Cortana's voice, by the way, because I think that they didn't get Jen Taylor, but she sounds just like her, and actually acts like her. Who would have known? But since Master Cheeks is a teenage asshole trapped in a Spartan 2's body, he treats Cortana like complete shit. And I also kinda like Kai, even though she's not a Spartan 2 at all, but at least she's kinda fun and likable. And my final and most important point is theme. Theme is arguably one of, or the most important thing to any story. What is theme, you ask? The message. The central message you want to transmit to your audience. Stories are meant to make you question yourself. A good TV show like Breaking Bad, for example, makes you ask yourself big questions. How far would you go for the ones you love? How much is enough? Does the end really justify the means? And believe it or not, this show actually touches upon really interesting themes and ideas, much like Terminator before it went to complete shit from 2003 onwards. The Halo TV show, and especially Halsey, make us question, do humans really need to keep trusting themselves? Are the safest hands still our own?
We may not be perfect, but the safest hands are still our own.
Or should we move on towards letting AIs and algorithms take over? And do you want to take a guess to which one did the show pick? Was it option A, the safest hands are still our own? Or option B, let the AIs take over? Or was it C, which is, I don't fucking know. Well, congratulations, dear viewer, because they indeed pick option C. Because at the end of the show, it looks like it's humans saving the day, or overly emotional Spartan 2s, I should say. But Master Chief is unable to beat the threat, so he lets Cortana take over control of his body and turns him into a perfect robot that talks even less than what he does in the games. So which side should I be on? On the typical, oh, humanity is great because we love and we have all these things that no machine can ever replace? Or should I be like, no, yeah, they should replace us, too bad lads, we lost out on this one. Because once again, I do not know. And it's too late, by the way. Too late to just throw in the Halo theme. Not to mention that the Covenant are even dumber than battle droids in this scene. But things could have been different. Adapting the original story would probably need an evil nerve behind it to make it look as grand as it should. And the Arbiter? Don't know if motion capture would do the trick, to be honest. I'm not sure that Master Chief should even be the main character. I think he would need a sidekick like Mando. I mean, he kinda does, but, she's kinda boring, and she's thrown away anyway. The Actman himself gave great ideas in his video on how to retell the original story. I think that's probably the way they should have done it. But again, the story is too grand to begin with. so I'm gonna side with Hidden Xperia's idea. Even he hated this shit, and he's the most positive Halo YouTuber you'll find. He said that a Band of Brothers-like story set in the Halo universe should have been made, and you know what? I couldn't agree more. Remember that ODST live action trailer? Oh my god, those trailers. All way better than this show. A show about ODSTs fighting against impossible odds. As you begin to like them and get engaged more and more and feel for them, as the odds become even more and more hopeless, would establish the Covenant as the almighty threat that they are in the games. And much like Darth Vader in Rogue One, boom, Master Chief appears and does the impossible to save them. Imagine that shit. Wow. That's what Halo is all about. It's more black and white on the surface. It's us, humanity, against them, the aliens. But the aliens themselves are also unique and interesting, and they have their own views and problems. Combat Evolved touched upon that black and white, and then Halo 2 gave us this interesting universe filled with complex alien races and conflicts, and then Halo 3. Oh, wow, Halo 3. So the first season would be like Band of Brothers, establishing the Covenant threat, and then the second one should establish the Covenant as being unique and interesting, just like Halo 2, and then Halo 3, or Season 3 I should say, should work like Halo 3, and provide this grand finale. Imagine that. But that is just a dream, my friends. A dream that we will now more than ever, will most likely never see come true. And much like the games, I think it's time to let this franchise rest. Thank you for sticking with me until the end, and if you agree or disagree, please drop a comment below, smash that like button, subscribe, hit the bell, follow me on Twitter, and I hope to see you all around here very often, because this is me, signing off.